Croeso pawb, welcome everyone, and today I am gonna say the S word, slugs. Now I might be thinking, okay, well what's that got to do with herbalism, Selena? Well, herbs and vegetables get gobbled up by slugs at this time of year, particularly if you live in wetter climates, but at the moment it's not very wet here in Wales. But last night it poured it down. Now, I am someone that likes to be in bed quite early. I generally go to bed around 9 o'clock and I like sleeping early. I read for a bit and that's my relaxation time. So I don't want to be waiting until sunset, particularly at this time of year, to do my slug hunt. So, over the years, I've been involved in growing since I was this high. And over the years, I have tried everything: copper tape, eggshells, coffee. This year I even experimented with some sheep's wool. And whatever you try, sand, whatever I have tried works great until it rains, which is when you need it to work, because it's when the rain comes out the slugs go mad. So, I used to love, in fact I still do, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Now, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, there's lots of lessons in there, and one of them is about slugs. If Buffy knew of a nest of vampires, she would wait until they were sleeping to go and get them and attack them when they were not going to be aware of it. I've used the same theory with my slugs. So today, I am Selena, the slug slayer. Apart from, I can't even kill a slug. So I just conveniently take them up to my woods. So this is what I'm talking about this year. Around the garden, I have put planks of wood and I have tried to make it nice and moist underneath. And I'm going to be experimenting putting comfrey and things like that under it. And every morning, or when it's convenient for me, so I'm not having to come out at sunrise or sunset, I check under there. Because if it's been wet, the slugs will go under and fall asleep. And I can come along, Selena the slug slayer, and gather them all up. So come around the garden with me and let's check out the slugs. I've got my slug pot, I've got my trowel if needed. This is the first one. Now because we've had a dry couple of days, it's actually quite dry under there. So I'm going to probably end up putting some leaves if we have quite a long time of dry weather. No slugs. That's a good sign. Now on to the Brussels sprouts bed, which you can see has had a few bits eaten, and da-da! Slug bed. Selena the slug slayer. It's great satisfaction. Onto the celeriac bed. No slugs for the taking. Now this bed is my kale bed and a lot of it has been eaten, but that's the kale in Wales, that's what happened, but it always comes back. So I don't mind if it gets eaten in the summer because it'll grow back by the winter. But I've still put one of these down because it's still good to gather the slimy little things. There we go. I have to have really good eyes for this. I should wear my reading glasses because they're well camouflaged. So now we are in the squash and courgette area, and this is all done through my pecs because simply I on my own cannot keep up with the weeding of a large area like this. So if it enables me to be self-sufficient in certain foods that I want to grow in bulk, I will use this because it will last years. And hopefully by the time it needs replacing, I will come up with some other genius idea. Anyway, on to the S word, slugs. So along here, I have got sandbags and pieces of wood, mainly to hold down the mypex, but also they work as great slug dens. So when Selena the slug slayer can come along, lift everything up and get the slugs underneath. The sandbags, the slugs absolutely love because there's moisture underneath. So let's do a bit of a hunt along here and see how many of the slugs I've got to add to my little slug pot. Now I'm not sure you can see in there that great, but the pot has quite a few slugs, including one very juicy big slug that would have been eating a lot of squashes if he'd stayed there. So I'm now going to take these up to the woods. The pot is empty, my slug hunt is done. My plants are safe for another day. Now, it doesn't mean that none of them are going to get eaten, because some slugs will come out and you won't catch them. But since I've been doing this, I've noticed a lot less slugs. So I know some people will be saying the slugs will come back. And I have been tempted to put a bit of eco paint on them to see if they do. But because of the reduction in slugs and the reduction in things getting eaten, I think it's pretty working. So don't waste time with slug organic pellets, wool, copper tape, sand, coffee, eggshells. My experience, great until it rains, which is when you really need them. All I've shown you here is I've put bits of wood, sandbags down around the place, trying to make a nice little den that stays moist and is inviting for them. And you too can be a slug slayer, and in your own time go around and collect them. So no more sunset or sunrise hunting. You can just go in your own time, on your terms. Diolch am gwylio. Thank you for watching. If you like this channel and like this video, please subscribe. It really helps get this information out there. And let's get everyone knowing how to turn into a slug slayer. You can also head on over to my website, selinawalker.earth, and sign up to my free newsletter, where you'll get free news, free updates, information about all my courses, and some hints and tips on how you can create a healthy body, healthy mind and healthy planet. And remember, what we're all about here is growing, foraging and creating your own medicine. And if you're growing, you need to sort out those slugs. So hopefully this has inspired you of a new way of looking at slugs in your garden.